Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain community? It's always good to see you guys popping in here. We are going to talk about the crypto victory. The crypto victory starts January of 2025 and will continue on for about 4 years. But what does all that really mean, Chip? SEC getting exposed, the Fed's future in question. And then we have to talk a little bit about politics because California doing some unconstitutional, unlawful things as usual, as par for the course for them. So we got to get into that. Crypto and geopolitics. If we're ready to kick this thing off.
Coming together.
Let's
go. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Hello, everybody. Hey now.
Where is everybody?
Where is everybody? Well, the went up a little bit past 7:30, so didn't get the notices out there, and people will gradually pop in here. Gradually. Jim D says good morning. Slow. Oh, good evening. Okay, good evening. Devon Steve is here. Good morning. It is good morning for Steve, though.
It is good morning.
But for Jim, it's good evening.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on. Celebrate good times. Drop where you're coming in from. We are seeing some of that right now. That's kind of a cool new development here. This is Tyler Winklevoss of the Winklevoss, famous Winklevoss twins. The ones that had the idea for Facebook, but then Zuck
took it.
The cuck took it, and they took him to court, and they got a nice, handsome reward. And they dumped it all into Bitcoin. They became billionaires. Pretty cool. Everyone's like, oh, they're so lucky. But would you have done it? You had the chance. But you didn't do it. So they did. 10 past 1 morning.
1.
All right. Well, yeah, right. What is it? It's always, how can it be 10 past 1?
They're 5 hours ahead of us. And then over in Australia, it is 10 p.m., depending on where you are. Or 10 a.m.
10 a.m., yeah. Depending on where you are. So this is, I said, behold, the Winklevoss School of Business, the first Bitcoin-backed business school. The school teaches the Austrian School of Economics, the same principles that influenced Satoshi. Check it out. And here it is. Grove City College, 4 billion Bitcoin donation from alumni Howard E. Winklevoss, 65. I'm guessing he's an alumni from 1965.
Wow.
Will support Grove City's college overall mission in the School of Business, which will be named in his honor this fall. Read more about the gift. So that's what it takes to get your name on a business school there, Jet. It's pretty cool. School of Business, the Bear Winklevoss.
So Howard Winklevoss, I assume, is the dad of the Wink. And apparently he also invested in Bitcoin. Is that what it is? Did he bring the $4 million in Bitcoin? Is that what it said? Winklevoss donations.
It said $4 million gift, but I don't know
in Bitcoin, because right there it says the Winklevoss donation is the first Bitcoin gift the college has received. So even the dad is loaded up in Bitcoin.
The unrestricted gift will fund innovative business programs, ensure that Grove City College continues to provide an exceptional education. Deeply grateful to Howard Winklevoss for his extraordinary gift, which will support our school business and other programming. Vital for preparing the students to be leaders of the highest purpose, principle, and proficiency. College President Paul McNulty said, he graduated in 80, fitting that we honor and recognize this distinguished alumni achievements in academia, legacy of entrepreneurship, commitment to excellence. Those are two things you don't usually see together, achievements in academia and entrepreneurship, but there you go.
You don't typically go hand in hand.
And there he is. There's Howard Winklevoss, 1965 grad. He looks just like an older version of the Winklevoss twins. Same similar face and everything. He's a renowned economic and business technology entrepreneur, a native of Mercer, PA, earned a degree in accounting, met his wife Carol at Grove City College, former professor of actuarial science at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, where Trump went and Don Jr. went, and Eric went there as well. Author of several books, including Pension Mathematics and Numerical Illustrations, writer of numerous academic articles, and winner of the American Risk and Insurance Association Elizur Wright Award for his contribution to literature of insurance. Jeff, I don't know. Imagine there's too many people up for that award. Is that like a big category?
It's quite an award. It's a massive category.
The American Risk and Insurance Association's Elizabeth Wright Award for contribution to. Is there that many people writing about insurance? Okay.
Apparently, it's a big industry.
After teaching for more than a decade, he entered the private sector, founding multiple ventures, including Winklevoss Consultants, financial consultant to over 125 major corporations, and Winklevoss Technologies, a company that builds software for the actuarial community and administer defined benefits, blah, blah, blah. Winklevoss Technology acquired Constellation Software for $125 million in 2023. He's no slouch, Jeff.
Big numbers.
He said he first learned and became fascinated with sound money at Grove City College while studying under Dr. Hans Senzold, free market Austrian school economist and professor, who studied under Ludwig van Mises. He then said, when my twin sons, Cameron and Tyler, introduced me to Bitcoin 12 years ago, I immediately recognized and understood what Bitcoin inventor Satoshi Nakamoto had achieved. He had encoded these principles, which have been contemplated for over a century, into digital money. It therefore gives me great pleasure to donate the world's soundest money in the school that first taught me about these concepts 60 years ago. It's kind of cool coming full circle, Jeff.
It's good to hear. It's good to see.
It's a good development, man. You know, I mean, here, amazing. You go to the college, you go that, you become a professor, you're going along. You're like, after 10 years, you're like, I'm out of here. And you go out and found a couple of ventures, one that ends up netting you 125 million. I mean, even if you're lucky enough to be Elizabeth Warren, you only get $450,000 a year for, teaching like 6 credit hours. But still, it's not 125 million.
Very amazing. You know what's even more amazing is that YouTube is crushing us.
That's what's amazing. That's standard par, right? That's like how it works.
Par for the course for
par
YouTube.
For the course, man.
YouTube doesn't like serious content. That's what it is.
YouTube's not a serious company. It's a censorship company. They will dictate what is good. They know what's good. They're smarter than all of you put together, and they are so sure of their ideas. They have to crush other ideas. If you have good ideas, then you will get what they call adoption. Imagine you have a company, you crush anything. You have to. Anybody that goes against it, you just destroy them. I mean, you do that in business, but I'm like, you don't censor people. You don't. This is how they act. This is crazy. Crazy talk.
Look at that. Laurel mistake. Trump bought hamburgers for a group of people with Bitcoin this afternoon. Hey, you know what? Hamburgers are better than pizza. That's pretty cool.
No, I like pizza, but he was doing a Bitcoin transaction.
It's really cool. You got to love to see the movement in the space. They're right now, as we're moving down the precipice of one of the biggest elections of our lifetime. And I'm sure previous generations have said that, but never before has there been such a wide separation in freedom versus no freedom. It's so clear now. It's scary, how critical this election cycle is, but it all is going to come down to people within the crypto space. Now, people within the crypto space also have to waken up, Chip, because here you see the Winklevoss twins, also big supporters of Trump. They put money because they understand the direction things are going in. Elon Musk has woken up. Peter Thiel has woken up. There's a whole list of individuals.
Peter Thiel supported Trump in 2016. I think going back to 2016.
Going back. But, the key is that there's such a trend right now. And you're even seeing people that are thanking Elon Musk for buying Twitter because it was such a major transformation in the movement of free ideas. Because right now what we're witnessing, and for them to support a college like that, and they also understand, because you go to university today and there's a lack of freedom and a lack of information, true quality information that is being exchanged. You don't have an exchange of ideas anymore. Last night, Chip, I went to curriculum night at my son's school. He's in an engineering class, and he's also in a business class. And so I met with both the teachers yesterday, spoke to the business teacher, and it was amazing the things that they're learning in that class. to the economic, to the basics of monetary policy, free market capitalism. Then you go into the engineering class, and they're gearing these kids up that by the second year they're in the engineering class, they're already working. They start right away. They're working on projects all year. They present them for competition. And if your class wins, you go through and you end up at nationals, you have an opportunity to win a seat where VC are looking in at the projects that you've invented. There's money raised. They bring in and they'll patent the idea. And their school won last year. Brought them right up to that point where they're going to be able to patent their idea. And so that class benefits. And that's the embracing of entrepreneurship. And you don't see that in this you don't see that typically, in a school system. I'm sure it's not in the public school system. It's not at the college level. There's no embracing of entrepreneurship. So I love that story, with the Winklevoss supporting the college, looking in at the crypto, understanding the free nature of it, what it really all means, and then moving. We really have to move society in the direction of entrepreneurship. We're seeing here's a crazy kind of juxtaposition over everything that we're talking about. We're seeing images of some of these illegals that have come in here that are cooking on shopping carts. They're in the park in New York, somewhere, wherever they are. They have a shopping cart and a tray, and they're cooking chicken or whatever they're cooking on these trays, but they're selling those good. They're selling whatever they're cooking. They're making money. That's like the bare bones of entrepreneurship. They're here illegally, probably shouldn't be here, but they need to earn. So what do they immediately do? They find a mechanism, a way to actually start earning by selling food products on the street. Now, you're here illegally. They don't understand all the dynamics of what it actually takes to run a business like that, where you can't just cook food and sell food on the open street.
You can.
As you can. Oh, you can, but they're doing
do it everywhere. You don't even have to follow rules. If you're in the country illegally, just do whatever the hell you want.
Well, that's the
floor.
Right.
It's the 14-second rule or the 3-minute rule. Kick it around a little bit, rule. Dust it off, put it back on the grill. Who's gonna know?
You don't know if the meat was cold, not cold. But once you cook it, it's all good. But that's entrepreneurship. That's the
yeah. One time, my parents were like, we went to Mazatlan, Mexico. We drove there. We drove across Mexico from Saltillo, and at the time, my dad was working in Mexico for 2.5 years. And so we went. I was talking to him the other night. He goes, there's certain things you can't do today. I'm like what, Dad? He goes, we remember that time, like we got a flat tire in the desert and there was no cars passing for like an hour. I'm like, yeah. He goes, you remember that some random truck with a dude in the back and some kid in the back, like just said jump in, and like I disappeared for like an hour? I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember that. He's like, and I showed up back with the tire. I couldn't speak Spanish. No one spoke English. They knew there was something. I had the tire with me. I came back with the new tire. We put it on. We went. I was like, yeah, you're right, Dad. We all would have got shot in the head today. If that would have been a whole different story. We get to Mazatlan. The first thing my parents go, all right, they let us go at the beach. Have fun, guys. Have fun today. You know where our hotel room is. Come back, right? Whatever you do, don't eat the street food. Okay. 5 minutes later, I'm like, that smells pretty good. Sure. Some kind of barbecue thing on a skewer. Of course we ate it. We ate everything, Joe. We hit every damn thing, street food on the. We didn't get sick or anything, so it worked out pretty good.
Didn't get the
It was the white. It was the ice cubes. It was the water or the ice cubes. Oh, yeah. That's what you had to avoid.
You had to avoid lettuce, avoid anything that doesn't have a peel, avoid ice. Water. But that's people's downfall. They drink something with ice in it. Get a mixed drink, ice in it. Water, Scott Coke. They get, and then that's it.
Then you're done. For. You are done. It's over, baby.
Every time I went over to India, it was the same thing. Even in the hotels. Yeah. But the hotels, they brought stuff in from outside, and it was a little bit different. But I still avoided anything like salad stuff. It was just I was just basically meat and potatoes the whole time I was there.
You gave it your best. You remember talking about buying Twitter and stuff? I saw this. This is funny. Mark Cuban wants to buy Twitter, right?
He wants to buy Twitter and Fox News, he said.
Yeah, he wants to buy Twitter and Fox News. And then it was pointed out by this is an Elon Musk parody account. He's with that smile. He goes, Mark Cuban's worth $5.7 billion. And I think Elon even said something to him like, hey,
Oh,
you're like $40 billion short, you know, or something like that. It's like this guy's all in on Kamala Harris too, man. He's a nutter. I don't know.
man,
Some
I
of these
don't
people
get
that
it.
just
I don't get it.
they don't. I think if you have that much money and you're insulated, like you can think, hey, I know what it's like. You really don't. You just, you know, everything is done for you. You have the money, you have the cars, you have whatever. There's no struggle in your world. Your struggle is, I invested in a startup and it went, you know, went belly up. Oh, that sucks. Well, it's good invest in 30 other ones, you know. I mean, you're not feeling any struggle. So
That's true.
it is a little bit different in that sense. But
Well, yeah, even
Jared,
at 5 billion. I mean, he might not be able to buy Fox News or an X, but yeah.
yeah, like, dude, go ahead and buy Fox News. It sucks, okay? Fox News sucks. They all suck.
Nobody even
Marginally better with a couple of hosts, but it's all the same stuff. So Jeremy Kaufman, you remember he got shook down by the SEC. Of course, he didn't have $200 billion, $1 million in the coffers to fight them. He did the best he could, but he lost, and his business went up and in flames. And so did all of our backup videos that we've ever done since 2020. They were all sitting over there on library, and unfortunately, it went under. Well, he's a staunch defender of the Constitution, and out of nowhere, two feds show up at his house, and he gives a master class on how to deal with them. And what I'm about to show you this is because Newsweek also wrote a story about it. But this is so he's sitting there. He sees two guys parking across the street. They get out of his car. He's walking. He's shooting with his phone the whole time. And this is the part where they're right on his doorstep. And this is when it starts.
Then why would you come?
Because we wanted to make sure that there weren't any.
No, you're coming because you're part of a regime that does this kind of thing when you know laws aren't being broken. And that's an embarrassment, man. Didn't you guys read the Constitution? Do you not believe in America? Like, how do you do your jobs and go home?
We appreciate it.
You're walking away. Because nothing we did is against the law, and you guys are heads that try to act like bullies.
Gosh, that's so well done for so many reasons. Let's bring in the man himself and talk about that. Joining me now, tech entrepreneur and a man who understands exactly how you speak to feds when they show up at your door, Jeremy Kaufman. Jeremy, look, we'll get to the actual interaction and all these things in a moment, but I can't get the words out of my head, even though he practically whispered them. I want to talk to you about a post you made online. The Federal Bureau of Investigation showed up at your home and said those words. Man, what a place we're in as a country.
Crazy.
It's terrifying. I wish I could say that it's unexpected, but it does feel like this is the America we've become in the last 5 or so years.
4 years. Let's not go.
Jeremy,
Not get too crazy.
First, I love how you handled it because you treated them with scorn. And so many people on the right, wherever they happen to fall on the right, I don't give a crap. Conservative, libertarian, nationalist, doesn't matter to me. We have this older, more reverential feel for things like the FBI, in hard
network, and a number of branches of the federal government. It includes colleges and universities.
Anyway, he took him to task. He did a master class in the whole thing about how you actually treat, goons that show up out of nowhere because of a post. Jeff, this is where we are. Like, this isn't the Labour Party over in the UK because you posted a meme, some goofy meme about, immigration. Now you're going to prison for 3 years. This is the US. This is Jeremy Kaufman, who already got shook down by the SEC. It was a stupid ruling, lost his entire company. Guy fought to give the best fight he could give. And now you got goons coming to his house because he put up a post. I mean, this is where we are. This is 2024. It's a little bit on the ridiculous side. So
completely absurd. There's Jim D. How dare an American post anything on social media and security cams to be unsocial? There you go.
So this is even better, Jeff. So Newsweek reached out to him and said, asking Kaufman, this is part of the story, asking Kaufman to whether it was right or in the public interest for him to continue to film the encounter with the FBI. He said, any news publication would ask whether it's in the public interest to record law enforcement officers who refuse to state their names is too far gone to respond at length. Think about what you become and be better. And they actually put a link, they actually put a photo to it. Do you wish to comment further? That's
hilarious.
He's shocked that he's like, they printed it. He can't believe it. I mean, can you imagine Newsweek, a has-been organization, like it's has-been, leftist, rag, garbage with declining readership, asked him, and he asked them for their names. They wouldn't give them the names, but they wanted to have a conversation with them over what? There's no search warrant. You have no reason to have a conversation, but this is where we become.
Come on, guys. We stand with Kamala.
Sure.
Kamala.
And he says, you're part of a regime. That was the best part.
That's right.
You're part of a regime. He is part of a regime. There's no doubt about that.
Hoover was totally a normal guy, normal desires, normal men's underwear, etc.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Sure thing, man. Jeremy wasn't intimidated by Goldberg at all. Not at all. Not at all. Nope, not at all. It's the same shit they're doing in Australia and England. It's not going to fly in the USA. America, F yeah. America, F yeah. That's the greatest tune ever. I wish we could play that. Like, I wish that could be our opening song. You know, but
we probably can play it. We just have to demonetize.
It's copywritten, so yeah. Maybe
we probably stop us from playing it.
You get a strike anyway. So today, Jeff, check it out. Today was the digital assets hearing, and one of our favorite Democrats actually landed a couple good sort of appointments. I still don't understand why this guy's a Democrat. He's pro crypto. He's everything. Of course, we got the Shermanator too weighing in on this.
The Shermanator.
Genser was testifying.
So there we go. Here's Richie Torres.
When Mr.
Richie
Genser
Torres
was
is a conflict. He's a total conflict. He doesn't make any sense.
Well, he does on two subjects. On digital assets and a stance about Israel. Everything else is completely
off the
clown show.
Yeah.
But that's what's weird. It's like, but those two stances are contradictory to his party stances. He's a hard, it doesn't fit.
Before the Financial Services Committee, I asked him whether the sale of a Pokemon card constitutes a security transaction, and he said no. I then asked him whether the sale of a Pokemon card via the blockchain, whether that constitutes a security transaction, and he equivocated. And he seems to hold that the mere use of a blockchain, the mere process of tokenization, magically transfers a commodity into a security. It magically transforms a collectible, like a Pokemon card, into a security. Again, the Supreme Court has said what matters is not the form of the transaction. What matters is the substance, the economic reality of the transaction. If you apply the logic of the Supreme Court to the Pokemon hypothetical, what matters is not whether a Pokemon card takes a tokenized form.
Right.
What matters is the underlying economic reality of the Pokemon sale, regardless of its tokenized form. So would it be fair to say that the economic reality of purchasing a collectible, like a Pokemon card, is qualitatively different from the economic reality of purchasing a security like an Apple stock?
There you go. And then there's part two here where he also lands a good point.
Has asserted that all digital assets except Bitcoin are securities. And so I want to examine in detail Mr. Gensler's notion of Ether as a security. The textbook example of a security is a stock. Right? If I invest in Apple stock, it means I'm expecting a profit from the managerial efforts of Apple, the company. If I buy Ether, from whose managerial efforts am I expecting a profit? In other words, what is the Ethereum equivalent of Apple, the company?
There isn't one that I know of, Congressman.
Now, in the Howey case, the Supreme Court emphasizes that the SEC must zero in on the, quote, economic reality of a transaction. Since there is no entity that centrally controls Ether in the same manner that Apple controls an Apple stock, would it be fair to say that the economic reality of purchasing a decentralized digital asset like Ether is qualitatively different from the economic reality of purchasing a security like an Apple stock?
That would be fair, Congressman.
Okay.
It's hard to argue with, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there he goes. He lands two phenomenal punches, and then he goes all clown show on other stuff, which is
it's hard to understand. It's hard to comprehend how you can hold and believe in economic freedoms just because of where you see the rest of the party. But I guess, if you're going to look at him, maybe he's a fence sitter, He's kind of a centrist. Maybe he's an old school Democrat, but even that, because he adheres to a lot of their other ideas, like he'll buy into. But at some point, when your whole party has shifted so dramatically to the left, you can't even sit in the middle anymore because they've left you. You're no longer part of that party. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing so many people say, they didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left them. This one issue is a clear separator, because when you believe in economic, that's why Mark Cuban doesn't make sense. The guy believes in entrepreneurship, believes in, building companies. How could you then support a political climate that stands against everything that you believe in?
Because you're just
I mean,
drinking
that's
the
his,
Kool-Aid, man.
he must be, yeah.
You're
And
so deep.
Here you go, Scott saying all 5 SEC commissioners are supposed to sit in front of Congress next Tuesday. See you next
cares?
Tuesday.
Yeah, who cares? Nobody cares. I don't think anybody really cares. It's going to be another nothing burger, nothing of a. It's just going to be.
Jim D is saying to Laurel, where did this one came in here? Does the cut from the Fed cause a negative effect with the U.S. dollar next year? And Jim D was responding, saying the Fed action today was the same bad medicine they used back in 2008 in the 2008 economic and banking crisis. This, I believe, is the last hurrah for the U.S. dollar.
Well, I don't think it is. I mean, I think stablecoins can rescue the U.S. dollar. I mean, to some extent, they're almost all the ones that are normally used are all backed by the USD, right? So I think that's a interesting sort of a prospect there if you think about it.
That's right. And Chad's saying Cuban has so much FU money that he's disconnected from reality. I agree.
There you go. There it is right there.
And here you go, Vincent Scully. I was raised a liberal. Not many of my positions have changed. Some, but not many. But now I find myself in the center to the right because the goalposts have been moved. But I believe that when you're in that center position, most people live their life center right, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. Very good point.
Because the whole thing, most people say they're liberal because they have a certain stance on abortion. And that's it. And that's their whole reason for being that. But when you boil down to it and you realize, like, even the whole abortion argument is really about, they keep, trying to emphasize that it needs to be used in an extreme case. And that's what people are trying to protect, that if there's an extreme case, it wasn't meant for continuous birth control. And I think when they come to that realization that they're on that center right position, versus then you move a little further to the right, it's like, hey, don't want to see abortion, but that's kind of where they fall. And they, and I think that people have this misconception that, where they fit in, and it's always in that center. The majority are center right, but they're swayed to the left because they,
a little bit,
some of that.
Well, the whole thing, my body, my choice was great when you apply it to abortion, but it doesn't work the same when it came to the vaccine. That was not your body, not your choice. It was the government's body, the government's choice, right? They were cool with that. So, when you twist things to fit a narrative, the thing is, the government really shouldn't be getting involved in it. If anybody's spent a little bit of time reading the Constitution, or even the federal papers, that what led up to the 18 years that led up to the whole ratification of the Constitution, the fighting, the knockdown, drag out sort of fighting that happened there. One of the things that they talked heavily about was the fact that it was state right. The whole idea of almost like a decentralization. They didn't want the government to have that much power over everything. They wanted, if you didn't like it in one state, you can move to another state, right? That was the same with gay marriage. Like, gay marriage was legal in a lot of states, 10 states. That was the whole thing. It's a states' rights issue. Why the federal government is supposed to protect for the common good. It's supposed to protect for the borders. It's supposed to protect it, right? I mean, that's what it was really meant to be. But this whole thing, I mean, all the blue states have it, and they're like, if you can't do this, you know what? It's a fly somewhere else and go get an abortion if that's really what you want to do. But the one right that's never protected in the whole abortion conversation, and my body, my right, is it wasn't just taking your body; it took another body. Yeah, the woman. What about the man? How come the man has zero choice in it? How come the man wants to have a kid? Lady goes and gets an abortion. Screw you, right? it takes two, last time I checked, to be able to, it takes a male and a female to, contrary to other belief systems out there, to be able to create a child. And only one that has the right in that is the woman, right? This is what you're saying. You're only one that has the right in that. The man wants the child, woman wants to abort it. See you later. And it's like, well, better luck next time. This whole
where
idea,
does the child fit in?
right? The child has zero say in the whole thing. And it's like, and the whole thing that came up in that debate was, could it be aborted after it was born? I said no. And then, yeah, of course, this is the best thing about this thing is like, well, before it used to be the regime, the Ministry of Truth that would fact check you, and they'd fact check during the actual debate. Well, it just caused everybody to go out there with social media. It's like find and uncover all kinds of crazy stuff to realize that, yeah, telling the truth. Wait a second. Let me put this up here. Where is it? Why is it so many clicks to get this up? But this was something that happened today. We don't have to look at it, but Trump was making a campaign stop at a New York City Bitcoin bar. And he was, you can see him here. He's handed a phone and he's going to scan a QR code. Unfortunately, it's covered up by this stupid. So he's going to scan the thing. Of course, he's never scanned a QR code before because you realize you got to back it up a little bit, right? So there you go. He's going to scan the QR code. Both of these guys are sporting mustaches. Mustaches must be coming back.
They are coming back.
I know that Gallagher conspiracy guy loves to rock that mustache. You know what I mean? He's always like with the conspiracy thing, that Gallagher looking.
I don't know. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, and people are making fun of him. He didn't know what he was doing, and blah 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 blah. Oh, it doesn't matter. He's going to be the pro crypto president. He is Bitcoin to pay at a bar in New York. And then I said, but the Harris campaign is pro crypto too. They say whispering it behind closed doors. And I was making fun of the fact that Stu Alderati, general counsel to Ripple, was on a panel. Crypto Eddie posted about it. And he was talking about the fact that they talked to the Harris campaign and they talked to the Trump campaign. And the Harris campaign swore that they were going to pivot. And I'm like, well, that's funny because they posted their policy online. Is this another one of those, we got to elect you to find out what's in your actual policies? Like, just trust us, bro. The old trust us, bro approach, right? This is how whacked out these people from Ripple are. They're just completely nuts. They have all logic and reason. They think like, oh no, but they told us, yeah, behind closed doors, they told you, hey, we're going to be pro Bitcoin. Hey,
yeah, right. That's what they said.
Remember when Obama was caught a hot mic and he said, he goes, I'll have more flexibility after the election. Remember that?
You remember who he said it to?
Yeah, he said it to, was it Putin? No,
it was Putin. He was talking directly to Putin.
No, it wasn't
Putin.
He
said he would have more flexibility.
It was the president at that time. Yeah.
A
little more flexibility.
Yeah, that was not Putin. Right?
It wasn't Putin. It was the president at the time, whatever his name, Vladimir. I don't know. It was
Didn't he die? Was he
killed?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, Putin killed him. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him.
That's why we don't remember.
That's why we don't remember. No, but it wasn't Putin. It was someone. Listen, smart people in the chat. They'll pull it up.
Who was it? Was it Putin?
He told him to go tell Putin that he'll have more flexibility, but it was like the president of the time before Putin came back into into play. So
check that out.
That's what it was.
Where'd it go?
Handlebar mustache.
He said, "Bring back the '80s," because that's what it's all about, right? The crypto stash.
The crypto stash.
The mullet. There you go.
I saw a great video about a guy that says, you know what makes men happy? And it just showed a montage of things. And like one was kicking a stone down the road, but then you'd be mad if you just missed it. You know, if you kicked it, it was like all, a beer full of, a drawer in a fridge full of beer, drinking in a garage with your buddy, your dog. And not only your dog, but your actual buddy drinking and out and sitting in the garage. Like it was like all these simple things. But I couldn't help look at his giant mustache that he had. I was thinking, I'm so distracted from watching this whole thing because I'm not used to seeing it. It was actually a handlebar mustache there, Jim, what you're talking about. And I must be making the thing with Jeff. You're kind of doing the whole thing, the mustache and the beard, and grow down one of those long ass ZZ Top looking beards. I think that would be fun.
I keep trimming it so it doesn't. Because it's annoying.
Oh, you got to let it get longer, dude. Let's let it grow a little bit. Then once it gets to a certain length, you won't even notice it anymore.
Right.
Then you'll have food particles that get lost in there. It'd be awesome.
I don't need to.
Here's Wiley Nickel, another Democrat at
Sorry,
the
Chip.
digital asset hearing today.
Gary Gensler's approach to digital assets politicized, it's just downright wrong. He's hurting consumers, innovation, American competitiveness, and the Democratic administration. In May, 71 Democrats sent a strong message by supporting Fit 21. Our bill regulates digital asset intermediaries, safeguards consumers, and cements the U.S. as a global leader in finance and technology. Also in May, Democrats in both chambers supported my Congressional Review Act resolution with Congressman Flood to rescind the SEC's SAB 121, which puts consumers and the financial system at risk. While these are major milestones, the job isn't done. Unfortunately, the SEC didn't get the message. The will of Congress, and most importantly, the will of millions and millions of our constituents, is falling on deaf ears at the SEC. Under Chairman Gensler's leadership, the Commission has taken the most hostile, aggressive, and irrational approach to technology, although they state that they are technology neutral. This approach is not only against our ideals as Democrats, but it's a real detriment to investors and innovators. The Commission has refused to provide regulatory clarity and has instead over and over relied on regulation by enforcement, taking our country in the wrong direction. I'm very hopeful that we will continue to protect digital innovation in the U.S., protect consumers. Those are the things that we can do in this Congress.
Jeff, this is the guy that was holding those crypto for Harris, sort of bringing all the people from the business community, and Harris is making a pivot. Then she releases the so-called policies, if you want to call it that, on her website. It was like it was a major fail, right? Now check this out, Jeff. What have we been saying since day one? This is a farce. They're not going to embrace it anytime soon. They got people like Warren, who has more influence, is going to tell whoever the puppet president is what they're going to do, right? Since the beginning of time. Well, Ellie Terra posted this. Scoop, I got a quick look at the memo circulated by Democrat leadership for today's financial committee hearing, and it's abundantly clear from the framing and the language used just how partisan crypto still is from a Democratic leadership perspective. For example, they say that the bipartisan crypto legislation Fit 21 and the proposed rollback of SAB 121 are particularly harmful pieces of legislation and the work of extreme MAGA Republicans, Jeff. Oh my God. But don't worry, Jeff. The crypto bros told us, Mark Cuban said, that I think she really is pro-crypto. I think she has a change of heart. She just has to wait until, Biden, the president, he moves out of the way, and then she's going to come forward and act about something. What does this tell you right here?
Man, it tells you everything that we've been saying from day one. And that's all we talk about. And we keep telling people there's a clear divide. And then what do people say? I don't want to intertwine the politics with the crypto.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Those. It's too late. And then you have some of those same people are saying, oh, well, the ones on the left they're going to come around because they're going to come back. They really support crypto, or they come back and say, well, Trump didn't really support. He's not really supporting crypto. He just learned about it or whatever it is. But there's always got to be some negative spin to it in order to cover up that their party on the left, the majority of them are anti-freedom and anti-crypto. And as soon as they have that awaken, why is it that people are awakening all over the country, waking up their Democrats? Why is the walkaway movement so popular? There's no walkaway movement on the Republican side. There's a couple. There's a couple Republicans that supposedly left. They were fake from the beginning. Supposedly left. You have the rhinos like the Romneys and the Cheneys and all them. But then you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the walkaway movement that are leaving the Democrat Party. And then you have high profiles that like Tulsi Gabbard and RFK that have left the Democrat Party, and they're moving because they're more in the center. And the Democrat Party has shifted so far, but they don't support how is it that anybody that's an entrepreneur or is into crypto and into freedom is going to continue to support the Democrat Party? They can't do it unless the Democrat Party wakes up one day and says, you know what, we're not going to allow this fringe element to control our narrative, and we're going to move back towards the center. Like Bill Clinton was more in the center. He had some leftist ideas, but the whole Hillary care wasn't Bill Clinton care. It was Hillary care. She's the one who pushed it. and she continued to push it. Bill Clinton was the kind of guy, he's like, oh, just go along to get along with everybody.
He
You
didn't
know,
care.
and
He
he
really
had
didn't care.
obviously had a lot of issues, with women and stuff like that, and some of it not so good. And it came out, and they buried it, and they covered it up, and it's horrible what they did, and he was impeached over it, over not telling the truth over some of it. But there's a lot more in the closet that they just won't. And Hillary Clinton did everything she could to crush it. So if you want to look at where that movement of the left started going so far to that direction, Hillary Clinton was pulling things in a negative direction for a while. From with Bill Clinton when he was governor, she was burying all sorts of cases. And I remember on the Arsenio Hall show, they were questioning about, I think it was I forget, some of the women, they were questioning Hillary Clinton on the Arsenio Hall show, came out and attacked them and said and vilified them on national TV. And so that was kind of like this beginning. And then what do we hear from those on the left? Oh, you guys, Trump is so, vile, and the things he says and the things, that and they're like, oh, remove the violence. Even Deaton comes out, oh, the political violence, and he's not going to support Trump because of whatever. It's like, come on. When you saw where it actually started, Hillary Clinton, again, covering up, not just affairs, but horrible things that Clinton was being accused of. And there she was on national TV covering it up, and it didn't end. It never stopped there. The things they used to say about Reagan, the things that they said about Bush, about GW, just all these things. It's just, and then
most of them were true about
up.
GW though.
Well,
most of them, I hate to say it, but most of them were true. So it's just.
But then it stacks up. It keeps going to the point that when Trump was running the whole Russia collusion thing, and then all of a sudden he was a racist, he was a neo-Nazi, and anyone supporting him was a neo-Nazi, and that's not hate and violence. That's to the most extreme. They're taking words and accusing people of things that it's just so buried deep down hatred. And you can't come out now when things are happening and say, oh, we don't like the rhetoric and the violence. You're not allowed to do that anymore. You've already lost your right to come out now and say that you don't want that, because you know what? You created it. When you started it, when you're trying to take away people's freedoms and you're not going to allow people to invest in crypto, when you have a governor in California that's taking away people's freedom of speech, and it's definitely going to go to the Supreme Court, and they're definitely going to throw it out, but they're stepping all over your rights. And then you're still going to say, oh, well, they're going to come out and support. They'll come out and support crypto when it's not true. It's definitely not going to happen. It's definitely not true. They're telling you what they believe, and they're acting on what they believe, and they're importing illegals into this country in mass numbers, and they're migrating them to different parts of the country, and they want to give them a path to citizenship. They want to disrupt the balance. They're trying to, again, cheat the system. And if you're okay with that, and you want to cover it up and say, and you want to close your eyes and bury it in the sand, you're part of the problem. And that's why people are waking up, and even there's so many people waking up across the board, and it's going to steamroll this election cycle. And that's what it's all about, Chip. It's about waking up to the reality once and for all. It's got to happen.
JB commented on that last story here. He's like, hey, I don't know what's so hard about understanding the Democratic Party. The Democrat Party is the party of censorship, heavy surveillance, and control. Crypto is everything but what that party represents. You Democrat crypto supporters understand that your interests will not align with the Democrat Party, never will. Trump was just on an X Spaces discussing crypto. He's been to Bitcoin events. He's created NFTs. His kids are well-versed in the space. What more do you need? If a crypto company or CEO is endorsing the Democrat Party, it's likely because they're focusing on themselves, not the entire space. Well said. Devon Steve says this: these socialist millionaires hate the idea that some of us mouth breeders may just become wealthy. Wealth for them is not us. Yeah, maybe some of it. I just think
what's that? What do you think? What's that?
I just think they're dumber than rocks. I think that you can't even see when you're looking at it through glasses, rose tinted glasses, everything looks great. It's all rosy, and socialist tinted glasses. So you don't even notice the socialism anymore. You're just like, oh, whatever. Everything's cool in my world. Who cares? You're not out there struggling. You're not trying to make decisions like well, I guess we don't get that this week, or I guess we buy the generic thing this week, or we don't go someplace this week. You know, that's what a family's dealing with. But no, it's not really on the agenda. There was a news story, NBC News. It was so funny because the reporter was a little bit shocked at hearing some hardcore facts. Look at this.
Before, like right when the pandemic was striking, I mean, look, you had home loans at 3.5%. I mean, right?
What are they laughing?
Yeah, keep laughing, honey. Keep laughing.
Car loans, 5.2%. Credit card interest rates, which are always terrible. Look at where they are today. So the idea of the Fed cutting interest rates would be these numbers would start to come down. You can see mortgage rates have already been falling in anticipation of the Fed cutting rates. They'll likely continue to fall. A lot of really smart people I know say you're going to have a 5 number there sometime maybe early next year or even late this year. So for those people who are looking to buy a home, if you can find one in this tight housing market, or trying to refinance more likely, if you've recently bought, that's going to be the first place you're going to see the effects of lower interest rates.
So how bad did things get? Like, do you have numbers for, because we talked so much about how, I just set it up a second ago, how expensive it is to go to the grocery store. We know gas prices are falling, which is great. So tell us about what we saw in the improvements.
I mean, when you look at the vibe session, people feeling terrible about the economy, this is why. You had housing inflation, 8%. Gas prices at the worst were up 41%.
41%, Chip.
Unfortunately, I don't finish this, but this is ridiculous. Up 11%. But don't worry. You know, don't worry. It's
that's a national average. It's worse in some places.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's really bad. It's bad in Miami, I'll tell you that.
Oh, Miami's bad. Everywhere you go. You want to get a burger? $19.99. I told you last time we were in Michigan. Every restaurant where burgers used to be, I don't know, $14.99, $15.99, $16.99.
$21.
Now they're $19.99, $21.99, $24 for a burger, $24.99. We're not talking about organic, free range, you know, hormone free. We're getting whatever they're serving burger. You know, not fast food, but still.
Not the grass fed stuff, you know, not any fun, good grass fed or, you know, just normal. So Gavin Newsom signed a bill that outlaws parody. And this is what you were getting to before, that outlaws parody in California. And it had to do with the one that Elon Musk was put out there and they didn't like. I'm like, so now you don't have parody or humor anymore. And it's unconstitutional. You can't limit free speech. You can't say that. But they buy themselves a year and a half until it comes up and they get slapped by the Supreme Court. But this was something that sort of started it off. This is a parody of Gavin Newsom.
A message from the 40th governor of California.
What's up, guys? It's your lovin' Govin, here to drop some about Prop 83. Prop 83 is a spending bill designed to make new investments in a freaking butt ton of underfunded sectors in our great state, like renewable energy. Cali leads the nation's solar power, which is rad. But what about lunar power? I believe the moon is capable of so much more than just controlling your Aunt Diane's ovulation cycle. Ooh, take it. Thank you. Let's put the moon to work for us. You know we crush it when it comes to whatever drug laws. But Prop 83 hits different, allowing Californians to keep up to 7 ounces of hallucinogenic toad venom for personal use, plus 2 gallons of synthetic peyote and rando Guatemalan lab bought with crypto off the dark web. Bussin'! 83 also incentivizes the best and brightest in tech to live and work in Silicon Valley by making vaping in offices, hospitals, and Ferrari dealerships mandatory.
Can I hit that?
Sure, but I only vape Merlot.
Wait, who?
And with Prop 83, everybody gets a black friend. Like my man... Nate here. Nate and I love to hang on the weekends and do the stuff that Nate loves to do.
I like bird watching.
Whatever. Prop 83 gets binoculars for all, especially the blind, and earmarks $200 million to build a museum at Zac Efron's birthplace, so future generations can learn about the High School Musical franchise, his nutritional regimen, and Zach's ab routine as well. Lost another black friend. 99. 100. Hey, brother, can I get a squirt of that good stuff? So do me a solid to ensure a bright future for all Golden Stater skaters. Vote yes in Prop 83. Hey, do you watch Birds?
Paid for by the middle-aged woman rooting through Zac Efron's trash.
Fantastic, right? So
Oh
that's
my
the
God.
so that's what he outlawed. You can't I guess if you post that, the feds are going to show up at your door, and what are you going to do? You've got you've got nothing really to say anymore. It's kind of ridiculous. I thought that was pretty solid.
Look at that. Bought a Shake Shack,
$28.
single burger, cheese, fries, and soda. 20. That's insane.
I bought it at the airport. I forgot where I was last week, but I was running late. Shake Shack had the smallest line. Now I know why. Man, I had a shake. I was like, I couldn't finish. It was horrible, Jeff. It was like it was just horrible. I just couldn't even. The fries were like the best part. The burger wasn't even good, but it was like $25 or something like that in the airport. It was ridiculous. Look at this right here, Jeff.
There's so many great places to eat in some of these airports, though. But normally I bypass it right to the lounge. One time I was starving. I was dying. Went to the lounge, and there was nothing like substantial.
Nothing good. Yeah.
It was like cheese, crackers, these little sandwiches they have, maybe some soup, and I'm eating. I was like, I got to have a burger. So I went back out to the regular airport, found a burger place, sat down.
Brought it back to the lounge and ate. Set up a little.
They don't let you bring the food back.
They don't let you bring it back.
You can't bring food into the lounge. So went out there and ate it. But you know what? If you fly through Detroit, they got an amazing sushi place. They've got some good. They have some good craft beer places. They got good.
Atlanta's pretty good too. Atlanta's a good hub.
I like it.
Atlanta's got a lot of great places in Atlanta too. Look at this here.
Especially
Jeff,
the Centurion Lounge.
Watch what happened here to a normal person. This actually happened in the U.S.
Allowed to wear her Make America Great Again hat, MAGA, inside State Farm Stadium.
The Cardinals are responding, saying that one security guard did not follow policy.
Like if you look at this dude's mustache, like when you're trying to be funny and you put that big goofy mustache on, that's what it looks like. It looks like, yeah, dude, hey, I'm gonna wear a mustache for this thing and see if anyone notices, right? I mean,
do the whole sec.
It's like it doesn't even look real. It's like a giant mustache, like half over covering his mouth and everything. You're like, what kind of shit is that?
When my uncle was younger, he used to have a mustache. Well, he still does. But he one day, I guess he had gone into work and he shaved half his mustache off to see if anyone would notice.
I think they would. Not if they're standing this way.
Right.
They went this way, look normal.
But
This
nobody
way he had a
said anything to him. People like ignored it for the longest time.
Because they probably thought, like, should I say something?
Yeah. Does he
And
realize?
he's like talking to you, you're like staring at it, like, I don't think I'm gonna say something. Was he trying to shave it all off and he forgot, or what happened? Phone ring? Got a text? I mean, who knows?
Rob Owen Williams and a Tom Selleck.
There you go.
Did not follow policies.
12 News journalist Sean Rice sat down with the woman to get a better understanding of what happened at the Cards opener.
Hey there, Mark and Caribbean.
Here's what happened. Went into the game, said you can't wear that, and made him throw it away. And to get in it. That wasn't what happened, John.
Today I spoke with Susan Rosener. She has been a season ticket holder for nearly 3 decades, going to Cardinals games with her and her husband. But something happened to her on Sunday that has never happened before. She was told she had to throw her Make America Great Again hat in the trash, or else she and her husband couldn't enter the stadium.
I hear somebody yell, you can't bring that hat in here. And I thought she was joking, and I kind of went, oh, ha, 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 and kept walking toward the second checkpoint.
They're the words Susan Rosener heard as she was walking up the security checkpoints at State Farm Stadium. They were uttered by a security guard working for a third-party company. When she was asked why she could not wear a political hat to a public sporting event, she was told it violated the stadium's policies.
She's like, no political hats or shirts. And I said, I haven't heard that at all. And I said, that doesn't make sense to me. And she goes, I said, take your hat off. And I go, I'm not sure I want to do that.
After her husband posed a question,
if she takes it off, can we get in?
She opted to throw it away so that she could go to the game.
In retrospect, I wish I would have stood my ground a little bit, but I wasn't sure what the repercussions would be. And I was my husband would kill me if I did something with the season tickets or jeopardize those somehow.
Can you imagine
the
that
Arizona
you're worried about
Cardinals
losing your
in
season
State Farm
tickets?
Stadium have a list of prohibited items when attending Cardinals games.
Oh boy.
The two options closest to a ban on political attire would be, quote, clothing deemed obscene or indecent in a public setting, or any item deemed inappropriate or hazardous by stadium security.
Sorry.
She pointed this out to a guest services representative and was told MAGA hats are prohibited.
Can you please tell me where
Whoa.
this says I can't wear my hat? And I think she had heard the whole altercation before, and she's like, nope,
That's crazy.
nope, can't wear it, can't wear it.
But as it turns out, they are not. The Arizona Cardinals
Of course they're
issued a
not.
statement to 12 News saying a stadium security member misunderstood the policy on prohibited
Misunderstood.
items. The policy applies
Yeah.
to
Sure.
signage,
Yeah.
posters, flags,
so
or
buy me a
displays
freaking hat.
that are political in nature. They're
Should
also
get an
working to
autographed
reach
one.
out to Susan and apologize.
I
And
am
a hat.
super freedom of speech. I could care less if someone had a Kamala hat or T-shirt on. I do feel like part of the problem is this security woman definitely had a bias with my hat.
Of course.
And
Really?
moving forward, the Arizona Cardinals tell us they will be working with all of their stadium personnel to provide clarity on their prohibited items list.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of publicity they're looking for, right, Jeff?
But you know how many shits they care?
Zero? That's
Zero.
so many 0 Fs given. Chip, some think tank in the UK wants to get rid of the pint. What?
Yep. Check it out.
They want to drink less alcohol? No, dude. Let's
Small
stop that.
beer. Small
No, what do
beer
you-
study calls on government to shrink
Shut up.
pints. You know what? These guys,
No.
they deserve to be kicked out of the country.
They deserve to be beaten.
They're not even, you know, there's no way they can even,
No one's
can't even have them
drinking that.
get rid of
Looks-
these people.
That looks like
No,
one of those
academics.
yogurt cup, you know, those little yogurts you tore the cup off. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's okay. Look at that. Sobering discoveries led to
What's
Cambridge
that,
University
shandies for
academics
everybody?
calling on the government to stop serving beer and pints to reduce
on.
Britain's
Come
alcohol.
on. I thought he was joking. This is ridiculous, Jeff.
A study found that beer consumption dropped by 10% when pubs shelved pint glasses and served customers the glasses 2/3 the size instead. Really? That could be enough to make an impact in the fight against several forms of cancer and other health-related issues
God
linked to
almighty.
excessive drinking. The
Cancer?
government has no plan to remove pints as the largest serving size
Oh, they
of
have
draft
every
beer.
plan.
But former Troy cabinet minister Lord Vasey told the BBC he thought it was a good idea that should not be dismissed out of hand. What the fuck?
These people
What's
are out of
wrong
their
with these
minds.
people?
Everything.
They've
They're
got,
leftists.
they've got
nut jobs.
nothing to do with their lives.
You're restricting freedoms.
Everything. Just go back into your basement. Get the hell out of our way. Stop
Shut
meddling
up,
in
Ernie.
everybody's affairs. Stop. Just enough already. It's like in New York. Remember they used to have those big, massive size cups, and you could go into the gas station and fill it up with soda. Just fill
Yeah,
up
they
the
got rid
whole
of that
thing.
in
They
New
got
York.
rid of that. They got rid of all the extra
So
large
people
sodas.
had to buy two. It's stupid. Like, oh, okay, you can't buy an extra large one. Okay, I'll buy two then. You know, it's just
so stupid.
We're gonna end it with this,
Like,
Jeff. This
what
is
the
Trump.
hell?
This
Either
is Trump calling
13
out.
or 30 pubs.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah.
Tonight, let me also deliver a message straight to Kamala Harris. Have you heard of her?
Ooh.
Who, by the way, was just rated by far the most liberal senator in the U.S. Senate, more so even further left than Bernie Sanders and Pocahontas.
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 Elizabeth Warren.
She's more so. Elizabeth Warren, she's more left than Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. Let me also deliver a message straight to Kamala Harris, the radical left Democrat politicians, and the fake news media. Look how many are there.
That's awesome.
Turn the camera around. They'll never do it.
No.
We've got to get our media back in this country. We've got to get them back. But the message is it's time to stop the lies, stop the hoaxes, stop the smears, stop the lawfare or the fake lawsuits against me, and stop claiming your opponents will turn America into a dictatorship. Give me a break. Because the fact is that I'm not a threat to democracy, they are.
There you have it. We wrap it up.
Man, oh
we are
man.
done. Yeah.
Man, oh man. The
Beer
beer
market.
market.
I like the beer gardens over there. That's my favorite thing to do is go check out the beer gardens, go in the back, sip some pints. Come on, man. Don't mess with the pint. It's sacred.
The pint is sacred. Someone else was saying they're going to get rid of fish and chips. Scott was saying,
shut up.
Bangers and mash. I mean, for the most part, food in the UK isn't great. Your fish and chips.
Dude, I disagree with that.
Meat pies
Pub grub
are good.
is the greatest.
Pub grub is good, but just like
fish and grubs,
overall,
banger and mash is the best. I don't know. I happen to like it. And dude,
I love fish and chips.
Proper
I can eat
English
fish and
breakfast.
chips all the
Nothing beats a proper English breakfast, dude. It's one of the best breakfasts in the world, next to a Japanese breakfast, which I would put above that. But I'm just saying, a proper English breakfast.
The English breakfast doesn't really
nothing better. Beans
jive with what I eat in the morning.
Man, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And then if you get some, and even in England, you get the haggis, which is pretty good too.
Can't eat that either.
The haggis is good. Depends how it's prepared, Jeff. When I go to Rome, I eat the Roman food, my friend. I eat it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I eat it all because that's
You know what I do like in the morning though is Thai food.
Thai food, good anytime.
Leftover Thai food is the greatest thing ever in the morning.
Thai food is one of the greatest things ever, no doubt. That's all the time we have, guys. We are out of time. We are 1 hour. My God, how did it go by so fast? Please, how did it go by so fast? Anything you want to say before we get out of here? Thank you and good night.
Thank you and good night. Be back. What's today? Wednesday?
Yep.
We will be back Saturday morning, bright and early.
Thank you
here.
And good night.
That's it. That's all we got. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday morning. Go check out the Badass YETIS coffee because that's really good for you. Badass. Check out onthechain.io for anyone who's left listening. Check out onthechain.io. Put your name, your email, and then what will happen whenever we're done recording these? Boom, you'll get an email. You'll have
all the things,
all the articles we talked about, links, because people are always like, hey, send me the link, send me the link. Well, go on there, you'll get it. Come in the email, you get a link right to the podcast version for free. You can support us if you want. You don't have to. Go ahead and do it for free. You get everything. It's really cool.
There you go.
Get the video, share it with your friends and family. Get the word out. Freedom is actually free. Freedom.
Thank you.
That's right.
And good night.
There you go.
Thank you. And good night.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And cartoons.
Thank
you know what's
you.
better than cartoons?
And good night.
What's better than cartoons?
Not much better than cartoons.
OTC.
Well, that
That's
works.
right.
That's
on the chain.
I think that has a slight edge, but it depends what cartoon. That's it, guys. We will see you guys.
Just went live.
There you go.
There it is.
We will see you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff.
Oh.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.